can't just hit broadcast. I have to hit the start button as well.
Start. Hello,
Right.
welcome. Good morning, good afternoon.
We are live. Tell us where you are dialing in from. We'd love to hear.
Hello from Southern California.
Hello from Budapest. Good evening, good morning, good night.
Seattle.
All right, that means you can hear us. You guys can see the screen as well. The screen.
Yep, I do see a screen.
Don't plan late. Plan early. All right.
Brazil.
People coming in.
Turkey.
Washington, D.C., London, Prague, Seattle, New York, Brazil, Israel, Busan in Switzerland, Vienna, Turkey, Estonia, Brazil. Awesome.
For those who are just joining, tell us where you're coming from or where you're calling in from. We've got a lot of users everywhere. I think we're in, 120 different countries now? So that's pretty cool to brag about.
That sounds like a big boast. We're just super.
Yeah. I'm excited about it.
Cool. Okay, I think we've got a mass of people. We shall begin. I'll say, hey everyone, I'm Clive.
Hey, this is Louis here.
Hey, I'm Akos.
And today we're going to give you a sneak peek about the updates that are coming in September. Lots and lots of updates with the new look and new branding and lots more automation. Today's agenda, we'll talk about the product updates in brief, and then we'll give you a live demo and then some resources so that you can know what to look out for, and also new subscription plans as well. So more features inside of plans and also lower cost and bundles on numbers of projects. So and also enterprise level is so affordable now that it's kind of like something that we really want to push to the masses as well. Module, a scope module, a schedule module, a track module, and a verify module, 6 modules. And over time, what we've been doing is combining these features and simplifying the workflow, so much so now that we have even more features and even more automation, but now in 3 simple modules: the planning of documents, resources, and agreements, the scoping of tasks and their requirements, information requirements, and the verifying and the tracking and verifying of deliverables in one simple workflow. If you follow this, you're pretty much complying with ISO 19650. We hear some great things from the auditors saying that it's a dream to audit companies that are using this workflow. It's much more accessible, and we're just making it more and more easy and more integrated. The combination of the track and the verify module we will show you today with the automation of model linking and model checking. We're really super excited about that. And we'll get to the demo. We have new account management, so you can manage your own branding and go through the upgrade process from essential, standard, and premium. Louis will talk more about the packaging later on. And we have been over the number of months, we've been building some really great features. We're really super chuffed about everything from smart fields to make it quick to create documents, to activating the dependencies so you can really do a program scheduling logic. The things like information verification rules, which have set us up now to be able to have the auto checking of models based on those values, and whether it needs to be a date and whether it needs to be between these dates, or a value, a number that needs to be higher than this, for example, those types of things. And lots more enterprise features as well. But I know you want to see it, so let's get to a live demo. 3 slides as we build in, just to give you a preview of those 3 modules. The first one is the plan module, and you'll see that the nav bar is on the left-hand side. So this look and feel of the 3 modules, you'll see plan, scope, and verify. In the plan module, we're still using templates. We're building multiple documents. We have full version history and a built-in approval process and smart fields to make this a lot quicker. We also have some more editing features that I'll show you as we go in. The scope is the combination of a grid view and also a timeline view. So we have the scheduling view, clear responsibilities, tasks with information requirements, and rule-based checking that we can understand per milestone. And then the verify module, we have combined the tracking, so a Kanban, a lean approach to tracking tasks, and also the 3D model, and checking to see whether requirements are missing, whether they're incomplete, and whether they are complete and correct, automatically giving you that as a percentage so that you can much more quickly connect automatically and verify. I mean, essentially, it just does it for you now when you drag and drop a model in. So they're the things that we will go through. Let me jump into the live software, and we can get started. Anything I missed before I jump in?
Yeah, maybe just posing a second for the new look on the new look. So yeah, the new color. That's I guess in the next release it's going to be even black. Probably that's where we are heading to. But there is a good reason for moving everything on the side instead of having it on the top bar. So now you have a much bigger space to actually execute and deliver the work that you have to do. So, and even this one, as you will see as we go into the projects, you would be able to close and just have a really narrow bar on the left side. So yeah, everything is about in this release is making it more simple, and that's part of it, making the workflow and the execution part more simple and just a bigger screen to be able to work on.
Yeah, and when you have multiple accounts, they could be different branding with different customers. So you could have their own branding set up in there, and you can also pick your own plan depending on what version or what you're looking at and what you're using.
Yeah, the multiple accounts really help for those of you who are consultants who are supporting owners, multiple owners, clients, but also larger organizations. They have an account for each region. So now you can jump between your region in Los Angeles, New York. So, of course, that would be an enterprise to have one bill for that. But for those owners, consultants who have multiple billing, you can now create your own and get started much quicker and even manage the branding easily between accounts.
Cool. So let's jump into a project. Well, I'm going to go straight into the plan in this project. You'll see initially, so this is a project that hasn't got anything in apart from a model in the verify module. So that's all that's in this project at the moment. On the left-hand side, we have the library, and this consolidates the view we had for the wizard, where you could add top level all documents at the same time, or you can get started by creating content just by manually defining something. So I could come in here and start just manually adding, as you know, or we could add a document just simply by dragging and dropping it. I'm going to quickly grab a document that I have on here on another screen. So if you already have a document or a docs file, you can drag and drop that in, and it will create you structured content of the content inside of those documents. So that's two quick ways to do things. But then if you are not using your own templates at the moment, you're using templates that are in the product, or if you're using templates from your projects that you have, you can access them on the left-hand side. And simply by hitting the add button here, we're adding the BIM execution plan. And if I close the library, we can see the 3 documents that we have in here that we've just created quickly. New features to be able to just drag these around. So if I want the BIM execution plan to be the first document, if I want to change the name, maybe I want to change who has access to this document. Maybe I want to remove access from certain people and only the manager has access to this document. So now you can start to see this is how easy it is to make those changes. And so each document has different permissions. And if I see also a feature that I think Louis is helping us with this demo, because I have used a template. When you create a plan section from a template, it's always linked to that source, so that if that gets updated, which it has in this example, the source template has been updated, I can incorporate the changes and very simply keep my whole company on track. So now Louis added this BIM manager in that section.
Yeah, this really helps larger organizations keeping up with their templates. So, we have a lot of teams who are meeting up every month or every 6 months sometimes to make these templates, to update these templates. But we don't know when they get incorporated into the projects. This helps with that workflow. If you need to make a quick update on the fly, it's now ready live for the next guy or girl to come in and incorporate those changes. And you'll have the option to incorporate or ignore. If it's something that's already progressed too far within the project, you can always ignore that. And even unlink it if it's something that you want to for sure not incorporate.
Yep. And we love to now talk about this concept of agreements not documents. And if we can use a workflow that's built in to each part of this as section by section, we can start to get agreement and authorize certain parts of the document for use. We agree on these parts and not the others. So really being able to define this on a much more granular level. So there's a lot more that we could talk about. There's other features that are in here compared to what is currently in the product. But let's move on to the scope and look at how we might define the scope. And I want to get to the really good stuff, which is the auto linking and auto verifying. The first part is, again, you might want to create things in 3 different ways. We might want to import from a CSV file to build our scope to get started. We might want to create things from scratch, just add folders from scratch. Or if we've got something already defined, and in this example, I've got a template, but there are a whole bunch of other libraries and templates and everything else accessible here. I'm going to simply drag in these 2 folders, so the structural content and also the plumbing content. And these are 2 folders that I've already defined with my elements. And also in our import settings, you can see that we had 2 milestones in here, the 3D coordination and the asset information model. So when I created that inside of our project, let me close the library on the left-hand side. It's created us our 2 milestones. And if I open, let's open to the level where we can see the elements here. This has created us the tasks inside of each one of these milestones, and even down to the information requirements that are required and the teams, and added those teams to the project as well. So all of those things happened automatically. We also have a set of information requirements that have been added at certain milestones in the project. Really quick to do that. We can manage the information requirements at the bottom the same way. We have other ways of tagging and of categorizing or P-sets so that we can understand and manage these. We can bring those in from the library, a whole bunch of resources that are in this library that are out of the box.
Is some of the newer functionality in the information requirements was adding rules that has been already incorporated or added in there, but that is what's going to help us with the verification piece in the next module. That's
a great point. Yeah. So here, where we are saying that this property is external, has to be, it could be tagged. It has to be a Boolean, as in it's true or false, and these are the values that we accept, or certain numbers have to be less than, and these are all completely editable. Everything based on the rules that you define is then checked automatically inside of the verifier. So let's jump. Actually, one other thing we talked about. Oh yeah, let's talk about the timeline view. So once we've got our tasks in a grid view, it's really powerful because we're using the same list of tasks. If we switch to the timeline view, we can see those tasks and to start thinking about maybe filtering just for the asset information model. So the tasks that are related to the asset information model, we have filtered in the background. We could filter it by a bunch of other things, maybe the date range, etc. And now those tasks, we can start to say when they're going to occur. So I know this task is going to be here. I'm going to add a dependency between these 2 tasks, maybe another dependency here. Once you create the dependencies, they are forcing the dates. There are a whole bunch of other features in here that might be related to forcing constraints. So we might want to say that it must start on, it must finish on, a whole bunch of other really detailed constraints. You might say it's manually scheduled, so it ignores the dependencies. There's a whole bunch of things in here. But in principle, it's your timeline that looks and feels like the same list in the scope. And even if you want to, we can have a compact view that makes it look and feel like a traditional Gantt chart scheduling tool as well. Let's jump to the verify module, which is where some of the magic happens. This is the part where if we've got a 3D model, so this 3D model is already in and loaded. We used to have a very manual process of picking what you want to link and linking to cards, which obviously is not very quick. But now, if at the model level, so there are 3 ways to add rule-based linking. At the model level, if we add a rule that says the name of the task, so this name here, if it matches something, a model property, And I think in this case, the best way to do that is to use a type name.
It's a Revit model, so the type name would be probably the best choice for this.
Yep. So now it checks the requirements, and we can see that some of these have been linked up automatically. So the concrete stairs is linked, the water closets are linked, the urinals are linked, and the bathroom sinks are linked. And because that's already linked these, let me move these to the top so we can see the ones that are linked together. And you can also see that there are percentages. So the percentages show how much of the properties that were required are completed in accordance with the rules that we have defined. So in the example here with the water closets, we can see that there are certain properties that have been required, and some of them have been, so system classification must be one of these. Unfortunately, the property is there on each of the elements, but it is not present in the right way. The other one is, so we can see, we will have some tooltips on here as well, but you can basically see and identify which ones are accurate and which ones are not.
The red helps you to see if the information requirement is there. The orange would tell you if it is there, if the value is incorrect or doesn't meet the rules that you set in the scope module, which was your information rules. And then the green ones will let you know, or you can select to isolate the ones that are correct, or your total that are correct.
Yep. And so I mentioned that there are 3 ways to, did I mention? Maybe I mentioned there are 3 ways to link in rule-based. One of them is at the model level. So that automatically added properties or links to all of these and check them. Another one is maybe if we want to see the let's do the cold water piping as an example. The model rule didn't actually catch anything, but we can add a task rule here. And that task rule might be something like, Louis, help me out. What were we linking here?
System name.
System name. So if I link the system name and I say this is domestic
cold water 1.
Cold water.
For you MEP who go through the properties of all these system checks, this would be an important one, but this is how you would capture not only just piping, but you can potentially capture assets or, I'm drawing a blank, sinks and toilets that are part of the system to capture it into a certain task.
And we can see with this example that we've linked the elements. We can see them here. Unfortunately, these properties, the flow rate and the pressure, are not present on any of the elements. So this is something that we would then go through the process of fixing. And let me just do the last one here, let me just do this one. So the exterior walls, I'm going to say with a task rule that the property of function, I think it is, function. So the function is exterior. So this is what this is going to do is say, find all of the things in the model with this property and link it to this task. So now we've got exterior walls. Again, unfortunately, the exterior walls do not all have the properties that we are looking for. Load bearing is external fire rating, etc. And if I link and I visualize this, this is kind of like the big aha moment. Oh dear, these are not all external walls. So very quickly we can see that properties are incorrectly added. Here, this is a wall element that if we bring up the properties just for that wall, and we can see, where did I look at? Oh, I'm looking. Exterior. So the function exterior is incorrect in this case. It might be different ways of adding these as IFC based requirements, but in this case, it was function exterior. This is not an exterior wall, and we would want to do something about this. So there might be some things that we are happy with, and we start to say, I'm happy with these. They are going away. Maybe some of these need, we are saying that they're complete. Some of them, though, this exterior walls one is definitely not correct. And we would want to now assign this potentially to a team member. I'm going to say, Louis, please, can you fix this? And mention Louis and say, Louis, please take a look at this and he will then get a notification, and I could either change the status in here, or if I'm in here, I can, so you can see this is now assigned to Louis, and I'm going to say that this is in a fixes column. And if let's go back to the view with everything. If we see where all these tasks are, we can see very quickly and easily where they are. And then other features as well. I know we're running out of time and we've got more slides to go. So just like, team member, we've now got not only the ability to see all milestones in the same view, so we can put all milestones in the same view or filter by milestone, but we also are able to group by other groupings. So not just the status, but if we said group by team member, this is now a really quick way to say, to give Louis a lot of tasks, basically. Give myself a task as well. So you can start to see how this is working, and Akosh, you can have a task. All right, there's loads more that we could cover, but in principle, this model version that we have in here, we want to release it and tell people that it is published and authorized for use. So that would be the final step, and confirming that that model is now available, and then that would provide a download link to others.
There's still a couple things I think we wanted to cover on the model linking. So there's the 3 levels, which was at the model level. So you set a rule per model. At the task level, which is what Clive just showed, these are important because in the future you will be able to import those from other projects, so that the task of doing that once in a template will come very in handy. But also potentially you just want to select a couple manually, so you either from the tree or selecting a few items and then assigning it to a task. So there's a couple. You could even use the selection tool at the bottom left to select and grab elements or content that you are just currently viewing, and then link that to a task. So those are the 3 different ways that you can link.
Perfect. Yeah, we didn't mention this as well. This is a new tool to be able to select, and we could just select, for example, these elements and then manually link these to a specific task. Yep. And I think the point that you made just then, Louis, about this is transferring from project to project. The concept of putting task rules in, once that is a task rule, so for cold water plumbing, if you import a scope the next time, let's go back to the grid view, and we look at cold water plumbing and expand that, this will now have that link on from the previous project. So you're essentially building scope, you're starting to add model rules and defining standards for people to follow. And as you're building this on project, what's happening is you're essentially, I don't know whether us saying machine learning, but it's then learning so that the next project, it will use those rules and you won't have to apply them yourself. We've got a lot of resources, so let's quickly, I know where time is up. We get too excited about the demo, but hopefully that was useful for you. And we're really excited about launching this one. It's going through the final throes of the quality assurance process. So, and if you guys, as you start using it, you see some things that you would like us to build on top of, more features, that's what we're ready for. So API, BCF, really understanding integrations and how we are then moving forward. All right, training resources. There will be a new website. So some more content. We'll also have resources for training on the website. There's the 5 BIM bloggers. This is kind of a cool blog, and you'll see more product related blogs from these guys as well. Tips and tricks series is there. You guys hopefully have seen some of them, but they're still relevant. The ISO 19650 series. All of these links, I think, will be plugged into the chat. Akosh is on that right now. So yeah, if you're interested in getting trained, audited and certified, then let us know. We have now a licensed associate program for our partners around the world. So there are 300 plus partners that are being accredited to give certification for ISO 19650 through a UK based partnership that we have. So that's pretty exciting. And the training and certification process that we have, it's coming. I know that some of you have registered for this a while ago. This is something that we've been wanting to release with this new update. So look out for that. Please register if you haven't already. And the training and certification process will be launched, so you will get access to that. We'll give you the pointers of how to use that. New subscription plans. Louis, do you want to take this? We've basically made it easier to purchase and at a lower price.
Yeah, so compared to the previous pricing where you had to kind of choose modules, now all modules are available. You simply choose between Essential, Standard, Premium, or Enterprise features. Some key highlights are the number of users on Essential versus the number of users on Premium, 2 and 20, the number of documents. So we have a features list that you can review. And then from here, you choose the level of projects. So level 1 project, level 2, 3 projects, and 10 projects. And then if you need more, contact us, and we'll get you situated on the right plan. But yeah, so a lot more simple on the way you choose the plan that's right for you. And again, like I said, you can have multiple subscriptions as well.
Yep, we're focused on enterprise level security. So yeah, this is a really important part for us. People say nice things about us, but the only way we build better software is when you are critical about it and give us feedback, because that's how we build better features. And really, really just love hearing from users. It is good and bad. Whenever we're doing something wrong, let us know. When we're doing something right, it's nice to get a pat on the back as well. We're really excited about this release. Throw your questions in the chat, and maybe we can talk about what's happening next as well. Maybe there's some questions about what's next.
Yeah, thank you so much for the feedback.
And don't plan late, plan early. I haven't been monitoring. I saw lots of chat going on.
Yeah, maybe just to give a couple of highlights. I mean, I was trying to keep up with it, but it's great to see that it's not only us being excited about this new release, but so many questions. And yeah, they are pointing to one direction, and luckily or not luckily, but I'm pretty glad to see that during the presentation, many of those were already answered around the API BCF. Of course, those are coming up, but also what kind of file formats. And I was trying to answer those, and Revit and IFC, those were kind of questions. So even if we had some private questions coming in, I was typing in the answer but I also shared the link how to get on a meeting with us, because if we couldn't just answer everything, let's carry on in some other meetings. So yeah, really glad to see these questions and discussions.
And people are asking, is the video going to be available? Yes, absolutely. We will share the link to the recording shortly. So as soon as it's processed, we'll share that. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending wherever you are in the world. I know that time zones sometimes are challenging. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good early morning to some of you. Thanks for being with us. Great. Cool. Thanks, guys. Let us know how we can help. Bye for now.
See ya.
Bye.